Hey, it's Stephanie, and I'm back. And today we're going to talk about if you're thinking about attending graduate school or professional school once you graduate. Say if you're a junior in college or a senior in college, or you're just maybe a freshman and you're thinking about one day I want to go to graduate school or professional school. When do I start that process? What does it look like? And how do I get started? Well, there are a few things you have to keep in mind for this process. What do you want to study? It can't be, oh, I just want to study chemistry. There's a breakdown when you get to graduate school. You're going to have to be able to hone in on something a little bit more specific. But think about, in general, what do you want to study? Um, you want to consider things like your GPA. Now, your GPA you've been working on, and as you go through graduate schools, they're going to tell you usually you have to have a 3.0 or higher. They're going to want to know your GPA for your overall GPA, and a lot of them are going to ask you, what is your GPA for your major? So you may want to consider that. If you're below a 3.0, does not mean you cannot go. You're not doomed for life. It just changes your process. Um, you want to also consider what courses are needed. Now, this is sometimes confusing to people because you may have a certain set of courses needed to graduate from college. However, to go to graduate school, they may say, okay, you need to have these courses, but it may be one or two courses that were not in your major to graduate from college. However, they will be needed for graduate school. For example, if you're majoring in something and say, oh, you have to have Calculus 1 and that's it, a lot of students would have taken that Calculus 1. But when they look at what's needed for graduate school for that same area or close to it, it may say that you need to have at least 2 semesters of calculus. So some students may say, well, wait a second, I didn't need that to graduate. We're talking about two different things. What you need to graduate is one thing, and what you need to enter a program is something else. So this is a good thing to look at before your senior year to help you mark out what courses you're going to be taking while you're in college. You want to also think about your graduate standardized exams. Now, this is going to be important because I suggest start looking into this maybe at the beginning of the spring semester of your junior year. You can start studying during your junior year, but you want to look into either the GRE, depending on what you're going to be taking or majoring in, based on graduate schools or professional schools, the GRE, the GMAT, the LSAT, the MCAT, depending if you want to go to law school, medical school, or to a graduate program. Um, these tests are pricey, and you want to know how to prepare for them. You want to know the flow of the exam. You want to register ahead of time because a lot of other people will also be taking this exam. One of the things I suggest, I'm always talking about students with disabilities. If you have a disability, you want to make sure that you are trying to get your accommodations well before you take the exam. If you are a junior and it may be around October or November, you want to start applying for your accommodations early or as soon as the fall started. So your disabilities office, if they are aware of your disability, can fill out that paperwork. Be mindful, they're going to need to know the start date. So even though you may have come to school with an IEP, meaning college when I say school, with an IEP or a 504 plan, they need to know not when was your last re-eval, if it's an IEP or a 504 plan. They may need to know when was the first one. And if that's not clearly marked, the university is not going to be willing to fill out that paperwork for you, and which means that you're going to have to go jump through hoops to go directly through the GRE or the GMAT or the LSAT or the MCAT to get it done. This is a lengthy process. So however, if you have a IEP or 504 plan, your disability office is willing to complete that paperwork for you so that you can submit it to the proper place so that they can approve you for your accommodations. This is going to be important because you do not want to take an exam that costs this much money and sit for hours and not have the proper accommodations. That's only going to frustrate you, and you're going to be saying, why am I here? Why am I doing this? And it's going to add added stress onto normal testing anxiety. So you want to do that right away. These exams are also expensive. So yes, they do have fee waivers. You can look into fee waivers. If you belong to like a TRIO program on your college campus, they may be able to help you with preparing for the exam and or providing you with a fee waiver. So you want to do that. If you're looking to go to graduate school, the other thing you want to have is your resume updated and or your CV. You want to have everything already lined up. So make sure that you are always updating your resume, you have a current CV so that you can submit this. You want to have a personal statement. This personal statement is going to talk about who you are, what you're planning on studying, maybe why you want to study that. You want to talk about, and you could go in a lot more detail if you start looking up. Some universities will post what they're looking for in the personal statement, or you can actually look this up on the internet to get a lot more information. But before you start applying, these are some of the things that you want to start looking into having. So just to kind of recap, when you're getting ready to apply for graduate school, you should have already in your senior year have taken your GREs at least one time. Know your GPA. Know your GPA, not only the overall GPA, but for your major. You should know exactly what you want to study. And yes, sometimes this may change from one university to the other because sometimes it's a slight name change, but it's in the same realm. You want to know what courses are needed. So as you're looking through each program, you're looking to see, make sure you've met those courses, or you may have to be considered not as actually entering the program, but on a provisional basis until you complete those courses. You want to make sure that, like I said, you've taken the graduate entrance exam that's needed for that program at least once and signed up for a second time if need be. Have that resume or CV ready and your personal statement. Once you've done all of that, that should be going in, like right now, this is early September. If you're looking for graduate school, you should have all those things or in the process of completing it so that you'll have them soon. Now, once you have all that, what do you need to do next? You need to think about what professors are going to be writing those letters of recommendations for you. They should be able to talk about what you've done within your major while you were at the university. Was it research? Was it having something published? What is it that they could talk about as far as you are concerned? What are the application deadlines? Look into each university. When does the application open? When is the suggested time that everything gets there? Because I'm going to say this is a expensive process. You're already in college probably. You are looking at application fee waivers. Sometimes they can be waived too. So try to attend open houses. Right now, during this COVID-19, open houses are virtual. Attend those so you can save $25 to $75 each time. You want to make sure that if you've gone to more than one university, you know how to get these transcripts offline. So all these things are going to add up. What I want you to think about right now is do not let these things overwhelm you. If you're getting ready to apply for graduate school, make sure you follow these basic tips. If you are a junior, think about how this can apply to you. If you have a disability, how is that going to affect you? Do not let these things interfere or hold you back. If you're only a freshman or a sophomore in college, let me give you the tip of the day for that. College is a wonderful program, period. It gives you the foundation. But if you are a freshman or sophomore, they're not looking just at, oh, this person has good grades. That is a huge part of it. But what else are you doing? Are you doing meaningful internships? Not just someone's paying you a few dollars to do something and some babysitting. If you're in education, what are you doing? If you're in science, what are you doing? If you're computer science, what are you doing? Are you working with a company that's giving you hands-on experience? Build that resume, build that CV, and you will have a lot more to add onto your resume that's going to be meaningful for your area of expertise. Again, it's not too late. Get started. This is the time to work on preparing for graduate school. Remember, do not let anything hold you back. Maybe your score is not what you wanted on that GRE. That's okay. This is COVID-19. Some people are waiving the entrance exams. Some people are not. Some schools are saying, hey, we're waiving it, but if you want some kind of financial aid, you're going to have to, if you want to be a TA, or if you're looking for a fellowship, you're going to have that GRE or the scores. Make sure you do not allow that to scare you. Do everything you need. Until next time, I'm Stephanie. Make sure you subscribe, you like, and comment.